What if you had to survive 1 week in ancient Egypt, not as a king, not as a warrior, but as an ordinary person living under one of the most powerful civilizations in history? Day 1. You wake up sweating, not because of a nightmare, but because the heat is already there. The air feels heavy and dry, even this early in the day, and there's no fan, no cooling, just heat that slowly builds as the sun rises. Your house is small, made of mud brick with whitewashed walls and a flat roof. Only 3 simple rooms designed to keep the heat out as much as possible. You live in ancient Egypt, around 1250 BC, ruled by Ramesses II, where life follows a strict order and your role defines everything. You are a scribe, one of the few people who can read and write, and that alone puts you above most people, giving you status, stability, and a level of comfort others don't have. When you step outside, the city is already alive, filled with dust, noise, and movement as workers shout. Animals pass through narrow streets and people rush to start their day. The buildings are tightly packed, made of mud brick with small windows meant to reduce heat, but it never truly goes away. In the distance, you see the massive Karnak temple complex, with huge gates, towering walls, and columns so large they dominate everything around them. A structure that feels less like a building and more like power carved into stone. As the day continues, the heat grows stronger, pressing down constantly with no relief, no shade, and no escape, becoming a normal part of life that you simply learn to live with. Day 2. Food and reality. You start the day with simple food, bread, onions, and beer. Not for enjoyment, but because beer is safer than drinking directly from the Nile, which supports life but also carries danger. By midday, you eat fish from the river, along with dates and figs, fresh and filling. And as a scribe, you eat better than most people, many of whom survive only on bread and beer. In the evening, you might have lentils, vegetables, or even roasted duck if you're lucky, and sometimes wine, which shows your higher status. But there's a hidden reality behind this diet, because the Nile, while essential, spreads disease through parasites in fish and contaminated water, leaving many people with constant stomach pain, weakness, and illness that they simply accept as normal. Health here is uncertain, and even those who live relatively well are never fully safe from what they consume. Day 3. Work and authority. Your work begins early, before the heat becomes overwhelming, as you sit with other scribes writing on papyrus using reed pens and ink, carefully recording information line by line. The work is demanding, your hand begins to ache, and your back stiffens. But mistakes are not tolerated because papyrus is valuable and wasting it can lead to punishment. A supervisor watches closely, checking your writing, making sure everything is correct. Despite the pressure, your role gives you real authority, because records, taxes, and legal decisions depend on what you write, and people's lives can be affected by it. Today, you record a dispute between 2 men over stolen grain. And the process is quick, with no long trial or debate, just a decision followed immediately by punishment. The accused is beaten on the feet while others watch, and you calmly record the number of strikes, the names, and the outcome, treating it as routine, even though for the man being punished, it changes everything. Day 4. Temple life. You spend the day inside the temple, where everything feels different from the outside world, quieter, cooler, and more controlled. The air is filled with incense, and massive statues with gold details reflect the importance of the space, making you feel smaller as you move through it. You assist in recording offerings made to the god Amun, including bread, meat, and wine, given daily as part of maintaining balance in the world, something people believe is absolutely necessary. Purification is also required, and you shave your entire body regularly, not as a personal choice, but as a strict rule, because physical cleanliness is directly connected to spiritual purity. In this world, religion is not separate from life. It controls everything, from daily routines to the functioning of society itself. Day 5. Illness. After several days of constant heat, your body begins to weaken, starting with tiredness, then turning into fever as something feels wrong. Soon, you notice serious symptoms that can't be ignored, and you visit a physician who examines you calmly and provides a treatment made from honey, garlic, and herbs. This is the best medical care available, and while it might help, there are no guarantees. Because of your position, you can afford treatment, but most people cannot, and for them, even simple illnesses can quickly become deadly. Life here is fragile, and survival often depends on factors outside of your control, including health, environment, and access to care. Day 6. Festival. Today, the atmosphere changes completely as the city fills with energy during a festival, with music, movement, and crowds spreading through the streets. People dress better, gather in large numbers, and share food distributed from temple stores, allowing even the poor to eat well for a moment. You take part by carrying texts and observing rituals, surrounded by people who all believe in the same system, the same gods, and the same structure of life. For a short time, daily struggles fade, replaced by a strong sense of unity and shared purpose. This collective belief and participation are what hold the civilization together, creating stability and allowing it to continue for generations. Day 7. Death and Afterlife. On the final day, you visit the burial grounds where the atmosphere is quiet and still, completely different from the busy city. Tombs of various sizes spread across the area, some large and carefully prepared, others simple and barely marked. Workers move slowly, preparing bodies by wrapping and preserving them, because death here is not hidden but expected. The average lifespan is short, around 30 to 35 years, so preparation for the afterlife begins early. Your own burial will be arranged in time, depending on your status, with mummification and rituals meant to ensure life after death. However, not everyone receives this treatment, as those without wealth are buried quickly and often forgotten. Standing there, it becomes clear that this civilization is built on strong systems of belief, organization, and control, advanced in many ways, but also harsh and unforgiving. Ancient Egypt is not just monuments and history. It is daily survival shaped by heat, structure, and the constant reality of life and death. Ancient Egypt teaches you one simple thing. A strong civilization isn't built on comfort. It's built on structure, belief, and discipline. People here didn't have easy lives, but they had purpose, and that's what kept everything running for thousands of years.